All right, let's call to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Not throwing us off at all.
Roll call.
There was a slight delay.
Oh, with
Alina,
me?
you're on mute.
With me?
Yeah,
Oh,
Alina, you're on mute.
I'm not, say that again?
I know.
She was just gonna do roll call, but was on mute.
Okay, Chairman Barnara.
Here.
Mr. Fernandez,
Here.
Mr. Grady,
Here.
Mr. Holmes,
He's joining right now.
He's here.
okay, Mr. Millard, Mr. Paradise.
Here.
Okay. I'm assuming there's no public for public comments unless Jim Simon wants to make a comment. Okay. All right, so like a motion to approve. So, what was that? Do you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
I hear you fine.
Okay, make a motion to approve the July 12th, 2022 regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So moved. Okay. Want to make a motion on F1, Jerry?
I don't have a particular language.
Okay,
It was,
You
Sent us an email.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
I think I have it.
move to approve the 13 items.
Okay.
Agenda item for the amounts listed, from the accounts listed to the accounts listed in the agenda.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the transfers identified in the agenda under F1, new business. The transfers to and the transfers from for the 13 items that are listed.
is there a second
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so moved. F2, Jerry?
Move to approve the transfer of $32,775 as detailed on the accompanying spreadsheet to cover higher than budgeted expenditures in identified accounts.
Is there a
Second.
second? Okay, discussion? All in favor?
So
Aye.
Aye.
So moved, so moved. Okay. I mean, Kevin, you got a finance director update here, I guess?
Yeah, the only thing I'm gonna put on is tax collections came in as expected. They were about 3 million ahead of last year, which is kind of in line with the increase we had. And the town, earlier this week, we received the $371,000 state grant to offset the motor vehicle cap. So we did actually receive that funding already this week from the state. We did get the certification request, which the town complied with, to receive the last tranche of the ARPA money. So I am expecting that the cash will actually be wired to the town within the next. They had to do it within 30 days, so I'm saying within the next 2 weeks, we should receive that. I do know that the building commission is in the process of RFP to go out for construction manager for the HVAC work, so that can begin to move forward and start to spend some of that ARPA. The key has been is being done at this the cousins or they can to sell trust. 2 weeks ago. And that might be the lighting upgrades. Both of which the lighting upgrades as well as the cubbies that were both approved in 2% fund are near completion, completed already. So the last invoice.
How's your fund balance looking as far as?
It's looking good. We don't need these transfers. But I do believe that there will still be enough money that we will be able to appropriate if you want for the fourth fire vehicle. And actually pay for it out of remaining surplus for this year to actually finish off the four vehicles for the strategic plan from the fire department and replace all of those 2002 vehicles. I also believe there will be enough funding if you choose to actually use money to fund personal field upgrades rather than bonding, even though the bond authorization is out there. We prefer. And then one of the other areas that I know is still going back and forth in discussions to what to do with the police station upgrade. The next would be about $300,000 to have the architects put together formal detailed plans to then use bidding and construction work downstairs. So I'm just giving you thumbs up to come back and ask to use some of the funding for that. Even with all those combined, I still believe we're in slightly above 11%. If you did all of those, it would be much higher if you do all of those, but those seem to be items on the capital list that you could then check off.
We have final surplus number for the year.
Right now, I would be looking at about. I think it will be 3.5 to 4 million.
That much?
Hey,
I'd be
Kevin, what,
using Sorry,
go ahead, go ahead.
I should say, you're using about $1 million. So I would say probably gonna end up with 2.5 to 3 million. $1 million you just put down.
I would never-
So Kevin, the Board of Education report that you sent out,
Mhm.
is this the final report for the year?
It is not. The-
Okay,
The board finished the year with about $2,000 left. So there were a number of invoices, as typically happens, that come in during the early part of July. So this report didn't reflect everything that had been expended.
okay. I noticed that in the choice grant program, they have over $500,000 remaining. And then they also underspent in their benefits and transportation, which totaled so that totaled another, I don't know, 350,000. So they almost had $900,000 of remaining budget, but they did use the benefits and transportation budget underruns to buy some F-23 budget items.
They did. It's common practice for them at the end of the year to purchase a lot of the technology that they need. They don't necessarily budget technology within the operating budget that they request, so it is not uncommon. Chromebooks, I can tell you, my kids, well, they're almost done with the high school period. Chromebooks are more disposable than lasting. And so those are often replaced, iPads and some of the other elements.
Okay.
And I mean, there's the Chromebooks, I don't know specifically with Chrome, but I do know most of the districts, those are finding their way all the way down to the elementary schools at a very high rate. So being a community with 1,000 students, you know,
They should just get interested in Chromebooks in third grade.
so they're buying a lot of them.
I think my only point is, Kevin, is that if they have capital items that were approving for them, for this current year, basically, why spend it on FY23 and appropriate it to the capital items instead,
Yeah. I mean, the Chromebooks wouldn't be capital. We removed
Understand that.
technology, but you're right. You're right.
I mean, they should give us an opportunity if they have underrunning budget to look at some of the capital items before they start buying FY23 items. Okay, well, I'm gonna communicate to that. And it's gonna be in the minutes anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, Sal, I'm looking at this $3.5 to $4 million surplus. When we set the mill rate, we were talking about $2.2 million. Now, here we are, almost double that. I think what we ought to do is adjust the mill rate back to zero. Take it off, adjust it back to zero. It's $890,000, right? To bring it to zero.
You mean make,
I'm not sure how you.
$2.4 million.
No, I understand, but I'm just not sure how to implement that because.
I thought we could adjust that at any time. Because I asked that question earlier.
Well, I mean, you can adjust, no, I'm just not sure how to implement that to affect taxpayers. In other words, taxpayers large percentage just paid. I guess you could reduce second installments.
So what they paid based on last year's mill rate?
No, they were paid on the mill, they're paid based on the mill rate in this year's budget. Keep in mind that this year's budget also included a gap because the projected amount from the state based on the motor vehicle cap was actually more than what we actually received. That was one element of it. But now, the items I mentioned would use up the surplus, for example, the fire vehicle, the personal field. It's not saying you can't do that.
We're raising taxes when we didn't need to and paying for stuff that we had already set up a plan in motion. We had decided to pay for those vehicles for a year, prior year. Now we're racing ahead buying these vehicles ahead of time. And we've actually gone in and just raised everybody's taxes by it.
Well, Tim, the only concern I have, Tim, is that, don't forget, we haven't invested enough in capital, so I really, at this point, we could have put more monies into capital and probably come up with a higher tax rate, and we didn't do that. So, I mean, I'm more concerned about that we have to look at capital and invest more in capital in the upcoming years.
Well, I understand that, but I'm still saying we missed, this was a big miss.
Well, yeah, it was higher than what we thought.
It was double, almost double. We're at $4 million, we're almost double. That's a big miss. And people are gonna see that and go, why did you raise my taxes? But we got a $4 million surplus. And what are we gonna say? We didn't know.
Well, we knew, but not to that extent.
I'm just a little bit, I'm a little surprised with that number, that's all.
Okay. Well, any other comments?
I just,
Are you-
sorry, Sal, sorry. I
Go
just think surplus or not, bring it back to the- we're not keeping it. Instead of bonding, she's on the cost severely. It includes a new part. It is what it is. Always right, goes that high, but the money's not being wasted. Quite the contrary.
Any other comments? Well, at this point, Tim, I'm okay with what we did, and I mean, I appreciate your opinion, but I'm good with what we did.
All right, well,
Okay, any other questions for Kevin? Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You
Good
too.
night. Thanks, everybody.
And Alina too.
Good night.
Good night.